McMahon, do you have anything you want to say before we get started with questions?
KP's going to be out tonight. He's got a sprained right wrist, and don't have a timetable. Hope it's not serious. It's something that he's been dealing with for a number of weeks, and so we're going to hope for the best on that.
Okay, Tim McMahon.
Well, I was going to ask you about Porzingis' wrist. Do you know how he hurt it? And you say don't have a timetable. Are you anticipating this could be a multi-game situation?
Uncertain. It happened a while back. I was talking to him today about it, and it may have happened in January. It may have happened in a game back in January. We're not 100% sure, but it's bothered him since then. And so, look, he's a tough guy. He doesn't miss practices. He wants to play all the time. But this was one that he's seeing Doc tonight, and so maybe we'll know more later tonight or tomorrow.
Mark Followill.
Rick, good afternoon. Obviously, the last time you saw Utah, they were playing well as they are now, and you were kind of in a rough patch of the season. You've gotten a lot better since then. So, given that, how do you view tonight's game in terms of a chance to compete against the team that's been the best in the league this year? What would you like to see out of your team, especially differently as it relates to the last time you guys crossed paths with Utah?
Yeah, look, this is a good opportunity for us. They are still playing great. They've been, I think, pretty much the most consistent team in the league this year. I don't know who's been more consistent than Utah. I think they've won 9 in a row by an average of 19 or 20 points or something. So they've been truly dominant. Tonight we have to control the things that we control. We didn't do that well in the first 2 games. We turned it over. We didn't rebound well. We weren't physical enough defensively, and we've got to change those things tonight. And we didn't even see Mitchell in those 2 games. So now we got him in the mix tonight. So look, it's a tough game, but it's a good opportunity for us, and our guys are looking forward to it.
Tim Cato.
Hey, Rick, kind of similar question to that, but when you guys played Utah twice, that was right when the players, the full roster was coming back together. How would you say this team has changed? The Mavericks have changed, in the time span since those 2 games to tonight?
Well, a lot's changed since then. We've fully recovered from those COVID situations, and there were many. I mean, there were 4 of them, 4 guys that were experienced all the difficulty. Maxey did not play in those 2 games, I'm pretty sure. And it was the first Utah game was the first game back for Josh Richardson, Powell, Dorian, and I think it was those 3, and Maxey was still out. And starting off, your first game back from that virus, at 4,300 feet against the best team in the league is tough. But in our pregame meeting and walkthrough, we looked at the things that went wrong. We got to get off to a better start. We had poor starts in both games, and we got to play better basketball. But get back to your whole question. I mean, KP's improvements since then. His physical improvement and conditioning and rhythm improvement. That's part of it. And so it seems like a very long time ago. But this season is moving very quickly, and it's just it's going along at breakneck pace.
Chris Mannix.
Hey, Rick, when you study this Utah team, where are you seeing the most improvements, whether it's as a team or individually?
They just, I think the guy you look at and say, this guy really looks comfortable in this system now, and so is Conley. He had been in Memphis for so many years. I'm uncertain as to his, what his physical situation was coming into Utah last year, because he had a few issues, but this year he's been fantastic, and he was an all-star. I voted for him as an all-star. I had him pretty high on my list, because of how successful their team has been this year, and obviously how he's played this year. There are other guys just, they're one more year grown together. And they're a determined team. Bogdanovich wasn't with him in the bubble. That's a huge loss, and so it's not that people have been dismissive of that. It's just I'm not sure all that many people were aware of that, and so they've been whole pretty much the whole season. Other than Mitchell missed two of our games, and Conley's been sitting on back-to-backs, but they've been dominant. And Quinn is a great coach, and he's done a phenomenal job building their program to this point.
Last one, Chris Herring.
Hi, Rick. I guess I just wanted to ask you about Jalen and just kind of the season he's had thus far. He's still a young player, incredibly crafty. What stands out to you about the improvements you've seen out of him this year? Is it almost kind of more than you expected? You always hear all the time about guys that are four-year guys in college and how much improvement they can make compared to guys that are just one-year guys out of college. What have you seen out of him this year, and just the levels of improvement you've seen from him this year?
I believe he was a three-year guy. Those kinds of things don't faze me at all. I mean, if a guy's 23 years old, I mean, that's still young to me. I think that's, and I think, guys that have an extra couple of years of college, there are certain positives that, really are hard to replace, with if you come up straight out of high school, if you come, one and done or whatever. But in Jalen's case, Jalen Brunson is a guy that I would never bet against. He's proven people wrong too many times. He's made improvements in all areas. He's gotten his body stronger and more durable. His skill level in all areas is improved and constantly improving. He has a unique knack of both playmaking and scoring. His defense is consistent, and he's a very reliable team defender and a better defender than people give him credit for. And so, this is year 3. I just see him continuing to get better and better each year.
All right. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk.